So here we go with part 2 of my series on vectorising this photograph of a Land Rover Defender. In part 1 we covered the glass house. Let's just turn that on, where we looked at drawing up one of the windows. If you've not seen that video, I'll leave a link in the description, and all the videos are going to be put together in a playlist which I'll add to as we go along. But for this video, we're going to be looking at the wheels on the Land Rover Defender. I'm just going to concentrate on this one, and then you can easily transfer the same techniques around the car or whatever project you're working on. I'm not going to do the tyre in this video either. That will come on another one because there's quite a lot of detail, and I want to spend a bit of time getting the tyres right, because on previous projects, tyres are one thing I've struggled with. So let's just do something simple. I'll show you how I do this, and we'll get it up to a reasonable standard that's got not too much detail on, but enough to start looking good. So let me just show you another drawing I've been working on. This isn't finished. This is a Porsche 924, which was at the auction house just down the road from me. I've still got tons of detail to put into this, but that's the kind of level we're going to bring the Land Rover wheel up to. And then if you want to carry on and add more and more detail, that's up to you. I certainly will be on this. Let me just show you the original photo. Turn all this off and turn the photo back on. So yeah, I managed to get my camera through the fence and snap a picture of this. And if I didn't have my Golf, I think something like this would be a great project car. But I've got enough on with the one I've got. So let's head back over to the Land Rover and get started on this wheel. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're fairly well acquainted with Affinity Designer and the tools and how to use them. But if you're not, I have created a playlist, a quick start guide to Affinity Designer on the iPad, where with short videos, usually like a minute long or so, I go over the basic tools that I use for doing these kind of drawings, and explain how to use them and get you going and up to speed pretty quick. So definitely check that out if you're still quite new to Affinity. And one thing I use to help us along with, especially, I picked a black car with loads of shadows with black wheels. It's not the best example for doing this, but it is the best example for what I'm going to show you next, which is making an adjustment layer. So I've selected the photograph. I'm just going to come down to this button here and go on to brightness and contrast. And just to help us out with the shadow areas that we're going to be working on, just bring up the brightness so you can see what you're doing a little bit better. And it's non-destructive, so you can always put it back or delete it and get your photo back to what it was when you started. So let's just increase that a little bit there. And then we're going to pick up our wheels and tyres group. I already created 2 discs for the tyres, which I'll save until the next video. Let's turn those back off. And what we're going to do is create an ellipse for our wheels. So I'm going to go to the shape tool and pick up ellipse, and then just draw that across. Let's just turn that colour off. And then let's just stretch that across to match the shape of our wheel. That's not a bad shot at that. And then because we've got shadow area and we've got highlights, I'm looking for a mid-range colour to fill that, because we can come back in later and make all the adjustments and refine our colours. So that's going to be our wheel. And then I think what we're going to do next is one of these spokes. I'm not going to do the whole wheel. I'll show you the techniques, and then I'll do the rest off camera and come back. Otherwise, it's going to be a really long video. So I've just selected the wheels and tyres again. Going to come in with the pen tool now, and then I think we're going to do the outermost section of these spokes. Go pick up the node tool and just bend that to shape. And then once with the basic shapes in place, we've got something to work with, and we can start making it how we want it to look. So I'm going to pick up this this colour here. Just drag the picker across and let it go and fill that. Then come back in and turn that on so we can have a look at what that looks like. And next we're going to do the shadow, the cutout section. Depending on what's behind, if you created a shadow section behind, you could actually punch this out using the Boolean operations. We're not going to do that. I'm going to just add another colour on top. Let's just turn this off so I can see what I'm doing. Pick up the pen tool and come back in. Pick up the node tool and then just shape that up. So that's probably going to clash with the shape that's above it. I'll turn that back on, you'll see what I mean. We can just tweak that a little bit to make it work for us. And then pick a colour for it. And then fill that. Yes, we can look at that in a second. So, yeah, that's the basic technique. I'm going to carry on now off camera. Go around and I'll see you in a little while, probably in 2 cups of tea. I'll see you. Here we are, a number of hot beverages later, and I've used about 5 colours to bring in the form of the wheel. We've got the highlights, the mid-tones and some shadows in there, just to get it starting to read right. I'm not entirely happy with some of the selections because they're a bit muddy, a little bit loose, but the block work's done, the foundation's in, so all I've got to do now is tweak it and bring it to life. One thing I didn't allow for though was because of the nature of the Land Rover, it's got hubs. The cars that I normally do maybe got nuts, wheel nuts. This has got wheel nuts and hubs, and the hubs were like drawing another wheel on top of a wheel, so that took a lot longer than I anticipated. But if you're lucky, if you're doing like a modern car, you shouldn't have that problem. So where does that leave us for this wheel on this lesson? I think if you're just starting out, you can probably get away with just leaving it as it is. For me, I'm going to continue adding detail, getting it sharper and sharper as best I can. We're going to add some lighting effects, which I'll show you in a second. But if you're just starting out, I'd probably just get it to a decent standard. And then before you go too far with making this one look good, or one at a time, I'd bring the other one up to the same standard. And I'd probably do them at the same time, because if you go off onto the body, it might be a little bit of time before you come back to the wheel, and then it's difficult to get it all to match. So do it as like a production line, do it as a set, and then it'll look consistent, it'll look sharper. Same as with all the lighting effects. I do all the lighting effects in one go, and then the consistency is there, and it's just easier to work with. But let me just show you the lighting that we can do on this. So we'll start with this top highlight there. Go into gradient, tap it again, pick up transparency, and then just draw near the top of the selection all the way down to the bottom. Pick up the node tool and tap off to deselect, and you get this nice highlight into a run off into a shadow. And we can do the same on the bottom. So let me just show you what that looks like. And it kind of brings the whole thing to life, gives it depth. It makes it look a bit more believable. So I'll be doing this around the wheel and adding some more intricate bits and pieces. So the next time you see this wheel, it should be looking pretty sharp. In the next video, we are going to be doing the tyres, which will be fun. So we've got to sort out something for all this tread. I think I probably won't do all the tread. I'll just do a patch so you can see the treads there. But so that'll be on the next one. Yeah, that's it. I think that's enough for one video. If you found this useful at all, please give me a like, check out my other videos, and even maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for putting up with me with my cold. I've been suffering all week with this. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you next one.